I thought there was too many holes. Way too many holes. Like, you could call this movie Swiss cheese. That was an awful joke. Hey there, creepy peeps, and welcome to another new movie review. There's kind of like mixed years on when this came out. Some say 2016, some say 2017, but the movie, I guess I should tell you, is Don't Knock Twice, directed by Caradog James. Really hope I said that first name right. So if you haven't seen my Get Out review from last Monday, which you can check out right up here, I did change the format of my reviews a little bit. I'm just trying something different out. I'm just changing up the format in my reviews a little bit, which I didn't even really explain it in Get Out. I kind of just did it, so I'm just gonna kind of do it now. So really quick, one sentence IMDb summary of this movie is: an estranged mother and daughter are haunted by an evil spirit, which could basically be any any mainstream horror movie ever. I feel like that plot needs a break a little bit, which I'm kind of already reviewing it right now, but I'm a little bit over the evil entity haunting this because some kids did something they weren't supposed to, or you moved into the wrong house or something. I feel like we need a break from those. So that's a quick little summary. So we're gonna move into my analysis of it, which really quick is where I'm mostly gonna talk about any social, political, or cultural commentary present in the movie, or what I picked up from the movie, and any technical aspects like editing, cinematography, mise-en-scène, anything like that. This movie is definitely about the mother-daughter relationship. It's, for the most part, like basically just like an all-female, not an all-female cast, but the female characters get the most screen time. Like all the males are, the only male that, you know, is present throughout the movie basically is Detective Boardman. But basically any other male is either disposed of early on in the movie, or they conveniently go away on a business trip or something. So it's just the mother and daughter left to battle this entity and try and reconcile their differences, you know, whilst battling this entity. So the mother and daughter relationship, I think they did a really good job of conveying that through their framing within each scene. So when they first interact in the movie, they're kept completely separate. They're never together in the frame, and the camera just cuts back and forth between them. So that really drives home like how distant they are from each other. They're not even in the same frame, even though they're talking with each other in the same room. And they slowly start getting closer to each other, so that kind of comes across in the framing as well. So as they kind of start to rebuild that bond again, they'll be within the same frame, but they're separated either by like the levels they're at, like one of them is sitting, one of them is standing, one of them is in the foreground, one of them is in the background. They're still as separated as they can be within the single frame. And then, like I said, they slowly, over the course of the movie, start to come together, you know, emotionally, symbolically, that sort of thing. And of course, like with any story like this, there is a twist at the end. Like the story and the mythology that they're kind of creating around this entity is not exactly the truth, or it's like things are not as they appear to be. And I think they really do a good job at kind of fooling you by framing Chloe in the center a lot, which when she tells her story, which I'm not gonna relay that part, but when she tells her story about her experience with this, it almost seems like she's creating the mythology, like all of this is happening because of her. So she's very often in center frame, which kind of drives that home. So you're thinking like she's the most important character, she's she is what this is centered around. Words. All right, so we'll move into my review. It's just like plot devices kind of just dropping from the sky to move the plot along. Very obvious scares. You know, it's those classic, drawn out, overdone jump scares that you can see coming a mile away. If you've seen any horror movie, you can see them coming. Obvious scares, and I'm a little bit over the bad decisions of horror characters. Like there's a particular scene, which I don't think this gives anything away, where the daughter, Chloe, has accidentally locked herself in the room with the entity. Like, oh my God, how many times have we seen this before? So she's like barricaded the door, and then all of a sudden she realizes the entity, of course, is a fucking entity, so it can go wherever the fuck it wants. It doesn't matter if there's a door in the way. So she realizes it's in the room, so she's trying to get back out. So it's it's basically this little nightstand that's blocking the door, right? So instead of just like staying on her feet and tipping the little bookend over and opening the door, she's lying on the floor trying to pull the door open while this thing is still in the way and struggling while this thing gets closer and closer to her. I mean, I guess they had to do it that way so her mom could come and save her, but it was just like so obvious. And it's like, it's just one of those things where it's like, they made it too easy. It's like, I can too easily point out, like, you could just stand up and push that thing over and get out. You know, like, at least if you're gonna do it, don't make it so easy to figure out. The twist was decent, but it definitely didn't make up for the rest of the movie. Like I said, there was just too many holes in the movie. And instead of trying to create some sort of like organic way for them to figure things out, stuff just kind of like dropped in on them, you know? It was like some sort of like omnipresent thing was kind of like, here's another clue, and it just like out of nowhere they get it. And it's, so why shouldn't you watch this? I'm gonna go ahead and recommend that you don't waste your time. It's not compelling enough. It does have potential to be a decent horror movie, but it's an ultimate disappointment. So I'm gonna give this a rating of kill it with fire. I don't recommend that you watch this. I mean, if you really wanna waste like 2 hours of your time, go ahead. I can't stop you, obviously, but don't say I didn't warn you. And like I did with my Get Out review, I'm going to read off the ratings for IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, and Roger Ebert. And I kind of just quickly agree or disagree with those ratings. Just keep in mind that IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes are ever changing and they're never frozen or constant. So these are the ratings as of right now at the time of my filming this. So right now, Don't Knock Twice is sitting at a 5.2 out of 10 on IMDb, which I think is a little generous. I think that's maybe like 1.5 points too generous. Rotten Tomatoes right now has a 36% with a 27% audience rating, which I think is about accurate. The 27%, I think that's about right. And then Roger Ebert, which doesn't change, has given it a 1.5 out of 4, which I think that 0.5 was being a little generous. I didn't read the review, but I'm sure it's scathing. All right, so if you've seen Don't Knock Twice, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about it. I saw it, I think at the time I watched it, it was only available on Amazon. So unfortunately, as it was a newer release, I paid $6 for it, which I'm disappointed about. If I had not watched it all the way through, I might have tried to email Amazon and be like, hey, I accidentally purchased this, and try to get my money back. I was a little bit disappointed I lost $6 to that, but you know, c'est la vie. So let me know in the comments if you've seen Don't Knock Twice and what you thought about it. And as always, feel free to leave suggestions for me in the comment section down below for future movie reviews or stale movie reviews, or just any video in general if there's something you want me to talk about. Blah, 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 blah. And until next time, stay strange. Bye.